So, in talking about the brain structure and how through different tools of yoga we can challenge and actually change the way that our system interacts with the brain. So my question to you is, what you've accomplished in the years since your accident where you were diagnosed as a high-level quad, you're an incredible testament to what can be done within the body with the tools that are available. But you're an incredible exception. So how did you go from being a high-level quad to where the doctors now don't quite know how to diagnose you? Are you a paraplegic? Are you, like, you can engage your core and you can move your toes.
Mm-hmm.
You have function of your hands. I mean, there may not be control with the spasms within your body, but you have the tools to calm it and tone it, and you have tools available. So can you expand
Sure.
on that? It's fascinating.
It's a great question, and it's one that we have to be careful to, first of all, not personalize me as if I've done this myself, because it's a relationship with the life force. It's not. I'm certainly not, going at night. Okay, I'm going to do this and this and that in my body, and it's about me doing it. It's really about me accessing the tools, accessing the life force with the tools of yoga to facilitate the environment for the best healing possible. So, and what I've done, is a lot of people have done similar things in other ways in different circumstances. And what all of those people, including myself, are doing is really, I think, letting the ability of the life force to heal be at its utmost capacity and with the most support that you could offer it. So how do we support the life force? Well, and how did I move from being a high-level quad that had no arm function, and just to be clear, I don't have hand function, although it looks like I have hand function, and my mom is always, embarrassed when she goes to hand me something and it falls on the floor because I don't actually quite grab it, because I don't really have grasp. I mean, I do when I engage my spasticity and my body in a way that we don't talk about in the medical system. So I use my spine, I use the bandhas, I use the tools of yoga to access things that I wouldn't have been able to access if I had just stayed with the limited belief that I wasn't able to move anything below my neck. So I did probably a few things. First of all, I didn't believe the limitation of the diagnosis. Secondly, from the very, very word get-go when I first was injured, I didn't take the concept of paralysis being something that was going to be my definition of who I am. I was going to let my body dictate that, and so I wanted to create and set up the feedback loop and the dialogue and the relationship that this body could teach me something that I didn't know before. I was a yogi before I was injured, but I've never been a yogi in a paralyzed body. So, well, what do I do, and what is this new sensation, and why do they want to drug out all these spasms? So, all of the different things that were given to me as a no, I didn't give it a no or a yes. I just gave it a possibility of inquiry. And I think we have to understand that inquiry and relationship and creating a healing environment are all about, they're all about relationship, first of all, and they're all about acceptance and awareness. They're not about taking one thing or the other. They're about going, well, maybe I'll look at this and that. So So in our system and in our belief, it was if you're a quadriplegia, you can't do that. So it's either this or that in our sort of medical system. Whereas in somatics, we look at this and that. We say, well, this is happening, but what about that? And yes, I'm quadriplegic, but what about the spasms? Maybe they can help me find more movement. Yes, I can't, use my bladder right now, but what if I engage my bandha? And, we're not given the possibility that what if we could do that, we would.
Right.
But in my case, I did. And so, nobody said, you have bandhas still after you're paralyzed. But I started to think about it. I thought, well, why wouldn't I? I can squeeze inside myself, so maybe I can expand that outward and take that into my bladder and, then start to engage, more of Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha to learn how to stop my pee midstream. And then I, added that into the next thing. And before I knew it, I had control of my bladder. Wow. And then I did the same thing with the spine. I mean, it wasn't long, before I started, figuring out that as I engaged my arms and my lats, that was actually engaging my core. And I would get a spasm in my diaphragm, and so I would think, oh, that's interesting. Thank you, darling. So, and of course, with all the help from my friends. So, the spine was the next big piece, and as I kind of started to unfold and figure out, oh, there's a spasm here, that's mid-back. I can get through that with sound. And I can go deeper if I add more sound or more vibration or more breath. So I would do all these different, things and really just experiment and use my body as a bit of a lab. Thank you, baby. Give. And now I got to go up. So will help me engage my spine and come back up, because I couldn't do that as a quad otherwise. So it's really the relationship that we've, we've taken and what we want to work with, the relationship to the life force. Why am I also part of the life force, and how am I part of the life force, and what can I do with the life force?